Good afternoon. I've decided to start off my Christmas dinosaur toy reviews with PNSO's beautiful Torvosaurus here. So first off, you can see that I've got the box and the lovely box art on the front. Behind the actual figure itself here, you can see there's a couple of differences. The khaki colour of the actual figure is showing up a lot brighter in this light and on the camera than it is in real life. It's actually more muted than that in real life. It is a lovely sort of dark khaki colour, definitely more in keeping with the box art than what it looks like here. But as you can see, there is quite a difference between the head on the figure in the promotional image and the actual figure itself. And part of that is down to the paintwork, which as you can see is quite different. Part of it is down to it appearing to be a slightly minor resculpt to the figure. So as you can see, the jaws appear to be modified slightly in the final figure. It's a lot flatter along here and in the lower jaw than it is in the promotional image. Apart from that, there's fewer teeth than there are on the promotional image, but that's very minor details. It has affected the appearance of the figure compared to the promotional image though. It is a bit of a shame, and then maybe it's had to do with some manufacturing or articulation purposes. Speaking of the articulation, it is very well done. It does suffer from that typical sort of PNSO over closure of the jaws, and of course there's no lips on this figure. I'm not too worried about that, but I do feel that they could probably fix the overclosure of the jaws, and in this particular figure it looks particularly derpy when the jaws are closed that tightly. But I'm not going to worry too much about that either, because it is a phenomenal looking figure, as you can see. So as you can see, there's a lot of very, very fine detailing on the face here. You get an idea about how tiny this detailing is by looking at my fingers compared to it. The other differences with the paintwork, I mean, apart from the fact you've got this sort of brighter yellow area here rather than the pale colours, is there's less darkening around the eyes, and you haven't got the paler crests as you have on the promotional images over here, which is a little bit of a shame, because I think carrying some of this colour onto the face would have made the figure look a little bit more realistic. But it is nice, it's a nice touch. It's nice to have some colour on the face. After all, reptiles and birds often are quite colourful around the face. Generally, it's a very even, very neat sculpt. Beautiful from every angle. You can see if it looks straight down the camera, you can see there's some sort of slightly forward-facing vision there. The eyes are mostly on the side of the head, as they should be. Torvosaurus is of course a megalosaurid, and it's good that we have Torvosaurus so that we actually know what megalosaurids look like. Megalosaurus being one of the first named dinosaurs, and we still don't really have any very good remains of it, whereas we do have good remains of Torvosaurus, so it gives us a good idea about the group as a whole. So that's a nice thing to have, and this generally fits those known remains very well. Lovely smooth jaw articulation, beautiful detailing of the teeth, they're very nicely painted. Look how fine these are in the lower jaw. And again, lovely detail on the inside of the mouth. Got the palatine nostrils here, and there's a gloss finish on the inside of the mouth as well. So one or two little things you could do to modify this figure, just to improve it a little, and I think I might. I have modified figures before, so I might give that a go. Modify this little Schleichsatacosaurus. Wish I'd bought more of these at the time and done a load of them, because it's arguably Schleich's finest moment when it comes to dinosaur figures thus far. There's a little ear opening here. I would like to darken up around the eye a bit, but as you can see, the eye is beautifully painted. There's no overspill there or anything at all. Some lovely detailing. None of the detailing on this is overbaked. It's all realistically quite reptilian and very well done. The paint is quite complicated. It's not as complicated as maybe as a Papo figure, but it's enough, and it's a really good colour choice for this predator, I feel. So you've got sort of overall khaki colour with this sort of creamish, and then you've got some peach highlighting as well. It's more obvious down this side of the tail than it is down the other side of the tail, which is again is another minor nitpick. Some of the paint ups are a little bit uneven, but that's quite common with dinosaur toy companies. As you can also see, there's a little bit of a reddish colour brushed in to pick out some of the detailing in the skin. And if you take a closer look at the skin, you can see how fine that is. It's lovely that none of these scales are overcut. They're all beautifully rounded, they're all very tiny. Obviously in a little figure like this, they're always going to be a little larger than they would have looked in real life, but it's so well done on PNSO figures. You really can forgive that. These are a really sort of high-end dinosaur figure, and they are very, very nicely done, nitpicks aside. They've also chosen to put some little ornamental scales in here, which is perfectly within the realms of possibility, the crest along the back. Not going to worry about speculative details like that. There's very few seams on this figure, but you can see there's a couple of minor ones around the arm here. Again, it could be disguised as a fold of skin, and you know, it doesn't seem to go all the way around the arm, which is quite nice. It is a really high quality figure. There's a little bit of a mispaint on the claw. As you can see, it's got a big thumb claw, and as Megalosaurus are possibly rated Spinosaurus, then this seems to be quite reasonable. Lovely detailing on the neck here. Lovely folds. See, the pose is quite neutral, but there's a slight bend in the head to the left, and the skin detailing reflects that. There's a few more folds and wrinkles here. You overall get the impression of quite a tough hide here, even though the scale detail is very fine. And these beautiful details, very reptilian looking skin along the belly. Absolutely stunning. And again, you can see where the muscles are bunched up at the front of the leg and pushing the body forward, whereas on the other side here, the muscle detail is phenomenal on this one. These muscles are all relaxed, but they're tensed at the back where that big quad femoralis is pulling, and it's got this lovely, thick, fat tail. Really, really nice touch, and the lovely muscles bulging in the legs here where they're flexed and tensed. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Beautifully balanced on these very small proportional feet. PNSO do this very, very well. Their figures balance nicely. They don't walk particularly easy unless they're really heavy like the Winter Wilson, but they always come with a little stand as well, just in case. Very, very high standard stuff. There's a little cloacal vent on the underside here next to the muscles of the tail. Beautifully done tail. Very reptilian. Absolutely stunning stuff. Not too overdone, hasn't gone too far. Just an absolutely stunning figure. So yes, whilst the head sculpt is a little modified compared to the promotional image, and the paintwork certainly is, that's not something I'm going to worry about too much. It is very, very nicely done. Now let's compare it to a couple of other figures. I mean, I don't tend to bother too much about scale in my collection of figures. I prefer to see them how they look together. Yes, they might be anachronistic, so let's pop it next to some other figures. Got PNSO's beautiful Allosaurus here. This is a figure where they did miss the thumb claw, so again, that is a peculiar oversight on a figure which was an animal which was known to have an almighty thumb claw. PNSO's stunning Utyrannus. And here we have Vitae's beautiful little, I think it's a young Chihuanosaurus, this one, I can't remember actually. I do believe it is. I don't know what happened to Vitae. I do wish they'd come back, because again their figures were quite special, a little bit different. And finally, one of the best theropods that PNSO sculpted yet is the Spinosaurus. He's hiding at the back there. Yes, you do pay a little more for PNSO figures, but they really are worth it. As you can see, this is an exceptional lineup, very beautiful. I get the vast majority of my dinosaurs from Everything Dinosaur, and Alan bought me my latest ones from Everything Dinosaur, mostly. So I will include a link to this figure down below, and I'll say thank you very much to Everything Dinosaur for your amazing service as ever, and I hope to see you all in the next video.